few years ago, a friend of mine got the promotion he had been chasing for what felt like forever. It wasn't one of those life-changing raises that instantly made him wealthy, but it was enough to make him feel like he was finally moving forward. For the first time in years, he had a little extra money left at the end of each month. Not long after, he bought a German luxury car. Honestly, nobody around him thought it was a bad decision. He worked hard, he earned a decent living, and after years of driving older cars that constantly seemed to need something fixed, buying something nicer felt like a reward. The dealership made the numbers look reasonable, the monthly payment fit inside his budget, and the car itself was everything he hoped it would be. It looked great, drove beautifully, and gave him that feeling that many people secretly want. The feeling that all those years of effort were finally showing up in real life. For a while, he loved every second of it. Every drive felt special. He would find excuses to take the longer route home. Friends complimented it. Coworkers noticed it. Even simple things like walking across a parking lot toward the car felt different. It wasn't just transportation anymore. It felt like proof that he was doing well, but something happened that happens with almost everything we buy. The excitement slowly faded, not overnight but gradually. After a few months, the car stopped feeling extraordinary and started feeling normal. It was still a nice car, but it was now part of everyday life. The problem was that while the excitement faded, the costs didn't. The monthly payment was still there. The insurance was still there. Then came the first major service. Then a repair bill that was larger than expected. The new tires that cost significantly more than the tires on his previous car. None of these expenses were shocking by themselves. The issue was that they kept coming. Every few months there seemed to be another reminder that owning the car was much more expensive than simply buying it. This is where a lot of people get caught off guard. When most people think about a car purchase, they focus on the payment. If the payment fits into the monthly budget, the car feels affordable. But ownership costs rarely arrive in one large bill. They arrive in small pieces spread across years. A service appointment here, a repair there, a set of brakes, new tires, a warranty expiring, an unexpected issue that suddenly costs hundreds or even thousands to fix. Individually, none of these expenses seem catastrophic. Together, they can quietly consume a surprising amount of income. German cars have a reputation for excellent engineering, and in many cases that reputation is deserved. They are often comfortable, refined, enjoyable to drive, and packed with technology. The issue isn't that they're bad cars. The issue is that sophisticated vehicles often come with sophisticated repair costs. The same engineering that makes the driving experience feel premium can also make maintenance significantly more expensive once the vehicle starts aging. The irony is that many people buy these cars at exactly the moment they begin earning more money. A promotion arrives, income increases, confidence grows, and upgrading the car feels like the natural next step. After all, if you've worked hard for years, why shouldn't you enjoy the rewards? That's a completely reasonable way to think. The problem is that a higher income doesn't automatically create wealth. Sometimes it simply creates larger expenses. I've noticed that when people talk about becoming financially successful, they often imagine visible changes first. They picture a nicer car, a nicer home, or a more expensive lifestyle. What they rarely picture is the less exciting side of financial progress. They don't picture investment accounts slowly growing over decades. They don't picture emergency funds sitting quietly in the background. They don't picture money that isn't being spent. Yet those invisible things are often what create genuine financial stability. Luxury car is visible. Everyone can see it. Financial security is mostly invisible. Nobody sees the money you didn't spend. Nobody compliments you for avoiding unnecessary debt. Nobody notices the investment contribution you made this month. That's part of what makes these decisions difficult. The rewards of spending are immediate and obvious. The rewards of restraint often take years to become visible. What makes German cars particularly interesting is that they often represent more than transportation. For many people, they're tied to identity. The car becomes a symbol of achievement. It tells a story about who you've become. That's why people are willing to spend so much to own them. They're not just buying horsepower or leather seats. They're buying a feeling. They're buying the image they've had in their head for years about what success is supposed to look like. The trouble begins when maintaining that image starts becoming financially stressful. A car that was supposed to represent freedom can slowly become another monthly obligation. The owner starts planning around payments, repairs, insurance costs, and unexpected bills. Instead of creating peace of mind, the purchase begins creating pressure. What's interesting is that debt rarely happens because of one terrible decision. Most of the time, it happens through a series of completely understandable decisions. A slightly larger payment, a slightly more expensive vehicle, an unexpected repair charged to a credit card, a refinancing agreement, another upgrade a few years later. Each decision makes sense on its own. It's only when you look back years later that you can see how all the pieces added up. The real lesson isn't that nobody should buy a German car. Plenty of people own them responsibly and enjoy them. The lesson is that there's a difference between being able to make a payment and being able to comfortably absorb the full cost of ownership. Those are two very different financial situations. At the end of the day, German cars don't put people into debt by themselves. They're just machines. The bigger issue is how easily we confuse visible success with financial success. One can be seen in a driveway. The other is usually hidden in bank accounts, investments, and financial flexibility. And sometimes the people who look the wealthiest from the outside are spending so much maintaining that image that they're quietly moving in the opposite direction. That's why the question isn't whether a German car is worth buying. The more important question is whether the lifestyle surrounding that car leaves room for the future you're trying to build. Because real financial security rarely looks as impressive as a luxury vehicle, but it lasts a lot longer.